we're talking a little bit about legal matters, and I wanted to know if you've tracked some of the legislation that the House and Senate are considering. One is to decrease the threshold for felony burglary, I believe it is, and then there's other things that maybe run a little contrary to some of the criminal justice reform that I think you have supported in the past, trying to lower the prison population, things like that. I mean, there's even a bill that would make it a felony punishable 2 to 5 years in prison if you knowingly transmit HPV. And so I'm just curious if you have concern that the legislature is again looking at rolling back some of the efforts that you've supported in the past on criminal justice reform.
Yeah, you know, I'm very proud of our state. We are a law and order state. I've given our law enforcement pay raises. I've given our Department of Corrections pay raises. We're going to support law enforcement first and foremost. And then when I think about the second chances and how our system's set up, I compare us to other states. When I took office, we were last place in incarceration rates, okay? So Oklahomans think that's weird too. I do too. I don't think our people are any different than any other state. Why were we last place in incarceration rates? And so I've gone about to say, hey, there's some people that we're locking up that we're just mad at. We're not really afraid of. They're not a danger to society. So let's figure that out. And we've moved 10 spots. I've saved the taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars by closing 4 prisons, 2 private prisons, just since I've been in office, since 2019. So I'm not going to let us go backwards on some of those criminal justice things. There's sentencing reform that I want to get through this year as well, that I think we've been negotiating with the district attorneys, that hopefully we'll get across the finish line. And then there's a real problem with some of this smash and grab and some of the things that are happening to Quick Trip and Walmart. And if you know that you can go steal something and it's under $1,000 and you're immune from prosecution, that's a problem. So I'm very sensitive to fixing that for Quick Trip and keeping those employees safe, because you talk about the employee safety issue, that's a big problem if they're trying to stop or trying to protect their assets, and then there's other further violence that happens inside those retail establishments. So specifically, I don't know exactly where the bill is, but I'm very, I want to help our retail establishments make sure that we can prosecute, give our DAs the tools to get bad people off the street, okay? But I'm not going to let it go backwards, and that's why we need sentencing reform. Sentencing reform, think about this for a second. It's not fair for somebody to get 30 years in this county and to get 1 year in this county or probation. And that kind of stuff happens. So let's determine in our committees, what we've done is we brought all the groups together to say, what is this crime punishable? What sentence should this person have? And then let's have it more uniform. So let's bring the flexibility or the scope of the punishment and kind of bring those in a little bit. And Texas went through that. And so that's one of the sentencing reform things I'd like to get across the finish line as we're making sure that we can punish these bad apples that are going into these convenience stores and retail establishments and knowing exactly what they're doing and stealing under a certain amount. But the other problem is, if we go to $500, some of the tribal laws are at $1,000. So again, I always talk about that. We can't have 2 sets of systems. You can't have a Hispanic, a white person, a black person getting a felony for stealing something at $500, and Kevin Stitt, as being a member of the Cherokees, I don't get punished until it's over 1,000. That's weird. Oklahomans think that's weird. I'll continue to remind people we have to have one set of rules regardless of your race. It's like I'm in a twilight zone having to explain that.